final time. Comes a run by Brad. There he goes to make his move. He's going to switch back over. Oh, the block, and around goes the 34. And Riddick steals one.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was Talladega. I'm indifferent to it today. Let's get right into it. Welcome in, everybody, to the post-race video. I am a day late on it, kind of, sort of. I have a lot of clips. I did a bigger breakdown than I did last week. I did a breakdown last week, but this is a much bigger breakdown. I have a lot of clips to go through. We're going to talk about everything from Fox's broadcast to the racing itself, to the package, to standings, and a lot of this is going to go on Fox. It's going to be a big Fox rant. But hey, where do we start? Let's start with where we always start. Let's go right on into it. So, quick recap of the race. We start out early in the race. Stage 1, everything runs green all the way through. Pit stop sequence, guys cycle to the front. And it ends up being a battle between Kyle Larson on the bottom and Austin Cindric up top. Kyle Larson was serving a pit penalty for failing inspection, so he actually ends up almost a lap down. It's very weird. He was side by side with Austin Cindric. However, he was essentially the tail end of the lead lap. So it was really a battle between Cindric and Elliott. And on the last lap, Larson got out of the way and let the two battle it out. Cindric beat him to the line, and that was stage 1. Stage 2, another completely green stage. Nothing really crazy there either. It was a no cautions for cause. We didn't see anything on that until stage 3. There were a couple moments in these two stages. BJ McLeod going up and leading laps. It was a feel-good story. Unfortunately, it's not as impressive as everyone might think when everyone's running half throttle. Of course, BJ McLeod can run up there when everyone's at half throttle. But that being said, I still enjoyed it. I enjoyed BJ being up there. But, it just shows the saving fuel was definitely a factor again today. And then there was really just Denny Hamlin unscrewing his head and laying it on the floorboard every time they came to pit road. Like, I don't know. He will be the first to admit. Go watch Action Sentimental. He'll talk about it, but like he just was bad on pit road. I don't know what his deal was this week, but it did not go well. That was stage 2, and then we go into stage 3. That's where we have our first batch of incidents, and we get into an incident with the Toyotas. We have an incident with Christopher Bell, another Toyota. So Toyota had a pretty rough day, but it wasn't going to be the only thing that kept him from getting into the winner's circle. But let's go ahead and start with it. So going into the final lap, we'll kind of show a quick replay, or I'll put the clip in there, but going on the final lap, coming out of turn 4, it's Brad Keselowski pushing McDowell clear out ahead, and then actually Brad Keselowski gets clear of the second row as well. Keselowski goes all the way to the top. McDowell pulls a really hard block. He pulls it back to the bottom, and this is where McDowell he pulled it down way too hard. Probably didn't have time to get there, probably should have stayed up there, but just pulls down so hard that he has to actually hook back to the right as Brad starts to push him, and then he just spins himself. Like, it was a horrid block. I mean, that was a Logano-esque block without the Logano part. Like, it was a very, very bad block. That's just bad. I mean, I understand it's Talladega, go for the win, yada, yada. Look, he gave himself no shot to finish. It's that bad a block. Keselowski just not doing anything wrong, but then got checked up and allowed Reddick to come through and get the win. Big crash, caution comes out. They got to rule who's in the crash, who's not, so the results are all over the place. But overall, it was really just, how should we say it? Let's go right into the first batch. So I'm going to show you a quick picture here, a little clip. This is what it looked like with 28 to go. 28 to go was the final restart of the race all the way to the checkered flag. And then here it is with 4 to go. What you might notice is that the top 4 in each lane, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 in both lanes, are the exact same. The exact same. It was that hard to pass, move, or do anything in those realms. And even the guys in the 5th row just moved up a spot. Like, you could not get to the front. There was a problem with this package, and it does not allow racing. I mean, it really was just 2x2 pushing the entire time for 28 straight laps. 28 straight laps. So I know people are going to say, well, they were side by side the whole time. Yeah, but you couldn't go anywhere. So it was very, very unentertaining for literally, 24 straight laps coming down to the finish. Nobody can make a move. They try to get the third lane going. I'll show a clip for this, but Ty Gibbs gets up in the high lane and just destroys the momentum up there. They finally sort of built a little run, and they were kind of making their way closer to the front, and then Ty Gibbs pulled up, and it's like he pulled the air brake and just, destroyed all the momentum on the top lane. It's almost laughable how you can just see it blow apart the minute he gets up there. And so, yes, no third lane, no option there. It's just 2x2 all the way to the end. During the finish, obviously, Brad was able to push McDowell out further, and Noah did a good job pushing Brad, so they kind of gave themselves a shot. But then we go in and we just crash a bunch of cars on the front stretch. We did have some pretty big crashes. We have, obviously, LaJoie getting up on his side. That was a pretty big part of the crash that we had going there. We also had another interesting spot where LaJoie spun due to going through some water on the front stretch. And we missed it, unfortunately, the first time. We did actually get it the second time. But, yeah, it was not ideal by any stretch. So, yeah, he got through a little bit of water, spun him. But, yeah, overall, it was not a great day for LaJoie. Then we go in, we have the Toyota wreck. I had mentioned that earlier. There's a couple different kind of spots you can see it from, but it looks like there was just some stack up going to the corner. They were pushing hard, trying to run faster laps in the big group, but it ended up just, they all got too much on top of each other and got wrecked. So, Hamlin probably would have made it through, but got hooked at the very end. You'll see it from the Truex onboard. But he gets hooked and goes straight into the wall. That ends his day and a very long streak of consecutive finishes. And then Bubba Wallace, Eric Jones with a very, very hard hit. He actually went back into the care center later. His back was bothering him, and I can see why. That was an absolutely brutal hit for the 43 on that lick. So, like I said, I've said this a while. I don't like this package. I've never liked the idea that the only way to get to the front is to slam into the car in front of you. I think mashing cars together at that speed is a really silly thing to do. So, not a huge fan of that by any stretch. But yeah. So yeah, that was kind of the biggest thing. There was another element or moment in stage 2 where Logano and Cindric were way out ahead of the field. They had cycled out on pit strategy far ahead, and coming down with a huge blast of momentum, Buescher was coming up behind. Cindric basically pinned him one lane to the wall, and then Logano went up and decided to block the wall, and Buescher was able to turn down and get back underneath Logano, but it just about wrecked the field. And it's just another one of those examples, in my opinion, where eventually, if you're one of those guys, you have to just run through the back of him. If he's going to play a stupid block like that, send him through the infield and just make him learn the lesson the hard way. Because, unfortunately, he came back and won the stage. Everybody brake checked to try and avoid the wreck, or creating a wreck, and he ends up winning a stage because of it. And I just don't like guys pulling stupid moves and then getting rewarded for it because everybody gave him room. So I'm a Logano hater. I can fully admit that, but man, it drives me nuts when a guy does something like that and gets rewarded for it rather than just people going, "Are you kidding me?" Like, no, we ain't working with you. To the back you go. So yeah, that's just my opinion on that though. So yeah, big moment there though in stage 2, and then also I gotta say there was. The rest of it's a broadcast. We'll get to that afterwards. I'll go through the results first, and then we'll go talk about the broadcast. So let's dive right in, though. Let's go to our results. I'm going to go ahead and hit stage 1. So in stage 1, oh yeah, I'm plenty far over. I'll have to slide over later. That way, okay. Stage 1, though, we have Austin Cindric with the stage win, just barely over Chase Elliott. Then we have William Byron, William Byron, Ryan Blaney, Kyle Busch, Harrison Burton, Christopher Bell. What the heck? Hold on a minute. There's the 10th guy. Alex Bowman wasn't in there. I had to move it in. So there's Alex Bowman. But yeah, we have Brad Keselowski, Tyler Reddick, and Alex Bowman. So that's your top 10 from stage 1. Then we move into stage number 2. This was won by Joey Logano. Like I said, pulled the block. This one's wrong too. What is going on with these? You're way, 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 way too big. All right. For some reason my little stickers aren't the right size, but Joey Logano, Austin Cindric, Kyle Larson did battle back from that lap penalty and was able to get back on the lead lap, score a couple stage points. Dillon, Ross Chastain, Tyler Reddick, Chris Buescher, Chase Elliott, Ryan Preece, and Ty Gibbs in the top 10. So that rounds out the top 10. We move on into the race results. At the end of the race, I had mentioned before all the stuff we had going on. We had Tyler Reddick with the win. Brad Keselowski, like I said, how close can he come? He's going to get a win. He's got to at this point. He's been so close. Noah Gragson third. And then after that, it's all guys that dodged the wreck. Ricky Stenhouse, Alex Bowman, Anthony Alfredo, William Byron, Todd Gillen, Daniel Hamrick, Harrison Burton. Truex Jr. was in it, but got to the line. Chase Briscoe, Ross Chastain, Ryan Preece, Chase Elliott. Obviously, I'm going to slide over here so I'm in the flame, but I am a big Chase Elliott fan. He is becoming a little bit of a magician on these super speedways in terms of getting away from wrecks. There's a couple moments. I got the one here with the Bell wreck where he somehow squeaked through that one, and then at the end he does the same thing through the massive pileup on the front stretch. He finds his way through that one as well. And it's not like it's he's just stopping behind the field. He's getting through these wrecks, through the middle of them. And so he had some good ones at Daytona, good ones last fall. It's become a trend in the next-gen era. It seems he has a very good knack for being able to use the brakes to slow up and shoot gaps through these wrecks. I probably jinxed him for the next super speedway race, but it's one of those things just watching it where I'm like, there's some of it's luck, but at some point you're not unlucky anymore. You actually might be good at it. But yeah, good run. Josh Berry 16th. He was destroyed. He was one of the cars crashed. Carson Hocevar was crashed. Corey LaJoie, like I said, finished on his side. So yeah, that was something. And then we've got Joey Logano, Ryan Blaney. They were in the wreck. Kyle Larson, Ty Gibbs. Everybody all the way back really was in the wreck from there on back, or at least ran through it. Michael McDowell, 31st. He's literally leading into the tri-oval. Ends up 31st. A big points hit for him. And I think at this point he's in must-win territory. He's had, between the road course and some bad super speedway luck, he's 26th in points. We'll show it later, but he's a ways back there. It's not as easy as it's going to be from last year where he was able to get a little bit of a hot start to stay in contention for 16th. He's down the road quite a bit. So next on that list, though, we've got B.J. McLeod. He was a lap down, unfortunately. Could never get his laps back. One more caution would have got him there. And then Nemechek on down were out of the race. Justin Haley, Eric Jones. Obviously, we mentioned earlier the crash with him. And then Christopher Bell was involved with that incident with Chase Elliott. So, yeah, Toyota really filling up the back of the field. But they got the one out front, so that's what matters, right? So, yeah, that is our results. Shout out to Shane Van Gisbergen. I know I had mentioned it before, but he went up and led some laps. They weren't full throttle or anything, but at the end of the day, he looked like he belonged out there. End of the race, he pulled up in front of Chase Elliott, and they got that top line moving. So, I'm telling you, this guy can race. I can't wait to see him win. He's going to win Xfinity races this year. He is going to. I'm calling it. This guy is really good. You can just see it. This is a veteran racer, and he's adapting quickly to Cup and Xfinity, mostly Xfinity. But yeah, I think I pretty much touched on everybody. It's super speed racing, so everybody kind of got a chance to be up front and have their moments and things like that. So the last thing we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and jump into the standings before we go into the broadcast. So in the standings, Kyle Larson maintains his point lead. Martin Truex Jr. maintains second. Chase Elliott and William Byron bump up a spot each. Tyler Reddick with the big day moves up 3 spots. Denny Hamlin with the really bad day, scoring 1 total point. He's actually going to drop 3 positions down to 6. So, whoa, a couple tough weeks for Denny. We got Ryan Blaney 7th, Ty Gibbs in 8th. Another couple spots dropped for Ty Gibbs there. We got Ross Chastain up 2, Alex Bowman up 4, Bubba Wallace down 2 with a bad race. Then we've got Chase Briscoe, Christopher Bell, Brad Keselowski, and Joey Logano rounding out the top 16 because Daniel Suarez would bump into the playoffs with a win. So Buescher is technically the first car out, even though he is tied with Joey Logano, so they are both on the cut line. So let's move on to the cut line here real quick. And actually, before we do that, I'm going to mention one quick thing. Noticing, I love this battle up front. We got the top 4 within 24 points of each other. Then we've got really within a race, which is about 50-some points. You've got about the top 6 or 7 in that range. And they are the right 6 or 7. These are the guys that seem to be the best this year. Ty Gibbs, I think, is going to be fine. Bowman's going to be fine. I do believe Bubba's on a hot start this year. So anyway, let's move on to the second group of standings. Here we go. So in the second batch of standings, this is all the way back. So Chris Buescher is going to be essentially the last car in, last car out. But this is the guys below the cut line. And you'll notice there's some familiar names down here. We got Kyle Busch down here. Daniel Suarez, like I said, locked in with the win, so he goes up. Austin Cindric is down here. He had a good day. He's really struggled recently, so he's going to have to put more of these days together to stay there. But then you got Eric Jones, Carson Hocevar in 21st. You got John Hunter Nemechek, Ryan Preece, Todd Gillen in 24th. And then you get a little further back. Here's where you got Ricky Stenhouse. You've got Michael McDowell, Noah Gragson, Josh Berry, Daniel Hamrick. I'm actually surprised how bad some of these cars are running. Zane Smith, we know he's had a disastrous season to start. We know that. Kaz Grala, Justin Haley, both ahead of him. That's embarrassing because just remember, Kaz Grala didn't even race today. Justin Haley, Harrison Burton up there. I mean, 32nd in points. That ain't good. Austin Dillon, 31st in points. Not good. Corey LaJoy, 30th. Like, these are not runs we expected. Noah Gragson, after the point penalty, I mean, if you take away those 35 points, where would he be? I mean, he'd be pretty close to 20th place. So a solid speed we've seen out of the 10. I do think he's going to have a shot to run up to the top 16 by the end of this. He has shown good speed. And then we move on. We got, like I said, Michael McDowell. He's way down here. He's 202. He is a solid 90-some points or 80-some points below the cut line. That's a long way to go. A lot of races. He's got time to get there, but he's going to have to make a decision at these road courses if he's going to take the points or if he's going to go for the win. Because if he goes for the win, he's going to miss out on points, and he's not going to be able to point his way into the playoffs. He's going to have to race for points or wins. That decision has to be made, at least in terms of the road courses where you'll get to choose to flip stages or not. So yeah, that's a big deal for McDowell there, but yeah, that's our standings. So let's move on to, like I was saying before, the broadcast. The broadcast was abysmal in every way. I took notes, a lot of notes. But I did take notes. I went through, I watched the broadcast again. I literally would pause it, start it, hit a timer. I was tracking how much time was spent in each category. So in these categories, when I was looking through it, the post-race coverage was 16 minutes and 35 seconds with 6 minutes and 10 seconds of commercials. So a grand total of 22 minutes and 45 seconds of post-race. In those 22 minutes, we had 6 minutes of commercials. Not great, not terrible. I mean, it's post-race, so, not a huge deal. But here's where it gets a big deal. Green flag full screen racing. So anytime that the green flag racing was full screen on the television, that was 99 minutes and 10 seconds, or a minute 39 and 10. So, yeah, not good. I mean, a minute, an hour, put it this way. This was a almost 4-hour broadcast, 3 hours and 45 minutes. An hour and 39 minutes of it was actually what we, the fans, came to see. Now, there was other elements of this. I have yellow flag full screen. That was 25 minutes and 15 seconds. So that was, say, right after a stage pit stops, that kind of stuff where they're back, they're broadcasting, but nothing's really happening on the racetrack yet. Side-by-side commercials, 11 minutes and 30 seconds. Yellow full screen. There we go. Promo. Promo is anything where Fox was talking about, say, Wendy's, they were talking about other Fox programs, or they were talking about, like, pit crews, where they did their little pit segments and stuff, which, during stage breaks, I love the pit segments and things like that. There were also moments, though, where during live green flag racing, they would flip to a little segment they had built, and they would zoom in on one car during that whole segment, and so it really added nothing to the broadcast. I'll show the example right here. It's Brad Keselowski. They're talking about his team, and while they're talking about Brad Keselowski's team, they're just zoomed in way too close on Brad Keselowski's car. They can't even hardly track him right. But that doesn't add to the race. We, the fans, can't see what's going on. So as much as that's live, you're missing the product, which is the race on track, because they're trying to sell sponsorship for, RFK or whoever. Somebody probably paid for a segment. And if they didn't, then get rid of the segment. It wasn't that awe-inspiring. Or put it in a small screen in the corner, instead of putting that on the big screen and putting the car that you're zoomed in too far on in the corner, and then there's nothing for the racetrack. So those are the types of things that I called as promos, 8 minutes and 55 seconds of that stuff, and full screen commercials. This is full screen commercials that we were missing action or potentially during yellow, 47 minutes and 55 seconds. So if you factor in the difference between full screen commercial and side-by-side commercial and full green flag racing, you're talking a difference of 59% green flag racing, 40.1% commercial. 60-40. Not good enough. That's not good enough. 60-40. And here's the other reason that this probably felt like there were way too many commercials. Fox has really started doing a lot of this, I've noticed. Their commercial breaks, every commercial break, I timed them. They were all under 4 minutes. They were all 2.5, 3, or 3.5 minutes. That was the most they would have for commercials. And so the commercial breaks aren't very long, but it's an interruption. You can't get a flow going. You got to see, I have a sheet here I'm going to pull up quick just so I can see it. But the longest stretch of green flag uninterrupted action was 15 minutes and 45 seconds. That was the run from about lap 20 to the end. So that was the stretch to the finish. I will give props, I guess, but thank you for not interrupting that. But the stretch to the finish went uninterrupted for 15 minutes and 45 seconds. The second longest stretch was 12 minutes and 15 seconds. That, and I will note, took place in stage 2 during the green flag stops that stretched towards the end of the stage. So everything cycled out after all those green flag stops took place in stage 2, and they caught all of it on camera, and then all of a sudden 7 to go hits, and they go to commercial. So they had a 12-minute block of racing, and they couldn't wait another, let's do the math here, 7 laps, 50 seconds a lap, 6 minutes. They couldn't wait another 6 minutes to a guaranteed commercial. Nope, got to go full screen commercial and miss the race. So we missed that, and like I said, that was the second longest stretch, 12 minutes and 45 seconds. So 2 stretches of over 10 minutes. Every other stretch of racing was around an average of 5 or 4 minutes. 5 or 4 minutes before something, whether it's a promo, side-by-side, something interrupted it. It's exhausting. I mean, the longest 4 stretches were 15 minutes, 12 minutes, 7 minutes, and 8 minutes. After that, everything was 5, 5, 4, 4, 3, 3, 2, 2. And there were some stretches where it was a minute and a half. That's not enough. We're here to watch the race. Show us the race. That's why we're here. So yeah, like I said, I wanted to break those down because those numbers can sometimes look different. You might think, wow, it doesn't feel like, if you look at the breakdown of the official commercials, you might think, wow, that breakdown doesn't feel like it. Well, you're right, because what you saw was a bunch of side promos, which there were like 15 of. There was a lot of like little advertisements here, little pop-up pictures here, and then some really wacky camera work at different points. And so all those things factor into the overall broadcast experience. But enough with the commercials and the timing of all of them. Like I said, just too many and poorly timed. Like I said, I'll show the camera here. Here's where they went to commercial, 7 to go, come back with 3 to go. The other time they come back with 5 to go. We're inside 10 to go to the end of the stage. That means there's less than 10 minutes to a guaranteed commercial. We should not be under commercial when you guarantee a commercial in 10 minutes. Either a yellow's coming or a stage is coming, but you are guaranteed, if you're Fox, a commercial will come in the next 10 minutes. You should not be, like the last 10 laps of each stage should be full green flags, full screen. That's what the fans are here to see. There is no excuse for having a commercial in there. And here's why. You're guaranteed a commercial in 10 freaking minutes. 10 minutes. You can make it that long. Like, come on, guys. I understand commercials are part of the business. I understand that. But get with the times. You can't grow a sport with this. You can't. I mean, if you're a new person trying to enjoy this sport, and you're just like, every time I get into the race and try to see what's happening, they flip off and go to a commercial, or they flip over to another promo, or they go over here, they go over there. Like, it's not trackable. You can't follow it. So that's just on the commercial side. Now I'm going to get into another piece, and this is something that has driven me nuts all year. I don't know if this is Fox or not, but something's wrong with their cameras. Their camera operators, or somebody, is just doing a horrid job. Like, I'm going to show all these examples. So let's start with the first one. These are just bumper cams that they went to use. Why? Like, I can't see what's happening. You're not adding anything to the broadcast. I can't see what's developing on the track. I can't see who's leading. I can't really see what moves are being made. Like, I'm just seeing a bumper. But there's a logo on the bumper to sell sponsorship. Like, it's useless. Utterly useless. And it's not even just then. Even after the race. Look at this clip of can't even say his name, Tyler Reddick. What is happening? They zoom in way too close. It looks like it's shaking. The whole camera is bouncing and shaking. And then you go to Kyle Busch, and it's literally shaking. It's like, what is going on with your cameras? I literally don't see any other sport where the cameras are bobbing and bouncing the whole time. It's weird. Like, again, I don't like to just rip on people that are just trying to do their jobs, but these are supposed to be professionals. What is happening? Is it the equipment? Is it the operators? Is it the producers? Like, why are these things looking like this? Part of it might be you're just zoomed in way too far. Zoom the sucker out, because there have been some awesome shots, and I'm going to show one here. This was a great shot from up in the drone or the Goodyear blimp. But the Goodyear blimp, this was a great shot. This is awesome. You can see everything you want to see as a race fan. So, like, you have the good shots. They're there. They exist. But then you don't use them enough. You are always using bad ones. I mean, I don't get it. Like, we go to another one here. Let's go to the pit stops. During pit stops, so they have 4 segments here. You'll see it on the screen. You'll see the 4 segmented cars that they're showing up close, and then there's the side shot with the all of pit road. That side shot is too small. You can't see who's coming out. So if you're following your driver, you can't see where your driver is on pit road, and where they came out, where they came in. If anything happened, there was a spin. That picture of pit road needs to be the biggest picture on the screen. These 4 other pictures, I'm not even, like, arguing. They're good pictures. Keep them. Just make them smaller so that we see the more important picture, which is the pit road, not all these 4 segments, because once the pit stop's done, they're useless. And then you get to this drone shot, which adds absolutely nothing. I can't... What am I looking at? Like, it's like they're trying to show all these cool new camera angles, but they don't realize I can't see anything. Like, what's the point? I mean, there was a couple points in a basketball game this year where they were trying to do, like, courtside camera view, and it sucked. You can't see. Like, don't use those. You know, like, if the one benefit TV has is you have aerial view, so make it so you can see stuff. But, yeah, they used this drone shot. Couldn't see anything. Not sure what in the heck we were looking at. And then just overall, like I said, I mean, like, shaky. I mean, the cameras were bouncy and shaky constantly. And I say shaky. Look at this. I'm shaking my desk right now. Just look at this. That was like the camera work, except even shakier than that. So I don't understand. Like, there's certain points where the onboards make great replays. I don't think onboards should be used as much in the race, because you just can't see what's happening. You don't really get a good feel for development of the on-track runs or anything, because you're not seeing enough of the racetrack. Now, for replays, it's great because you can see what happened, but in the moment, it's not very good. And then... here's another shot. This was just, what? Like, they're just showing the logo. It's just the logo of the racetrack. There's race cars moving around and you know, going by and everything, and they're just drone over the top of the logo. Just, that's it. Just shooting a shot of the logo. What? We know. It's the Geico 500 Talladega. We know this. This isn't news. Like, what are we doing? What is the point of this? And then there were other issues that we've had, bad pit road cams, bad pit stop cams, not being able to see, pit cycles. This one drove me absolutely nuts. Corey LaJoie spins coming off pit road in the puddles. I had mentioned that earlier, but we couldn't see it because they were zoomed in too far. If they just zoom out and catch the whole thing, we would have seen him spin. Instead, we're just going along and you hear Clint Boyer go, "Oh no!" And then all of a sudden you see Corey LaJoie spinning. Like, he was literally just this far out of the frame, but they were zoomed in too far, so we missed it. And that is a huge issue that's happened all year. They're just zooming in way too much. So the camera work, I mean, on top of all the other pieces, the camera work needs help. They also use this spoiler cam. I hate this thing. You can't see anything. Like, again, for a replay, sure, use it once in a while. But they use it because they're trying to use a sponsor cam, and it adds nothing. I can't see anything that tells me what's happening on the racetrack. It's just a way for you to plug another sponsor. It's like another commercial. So, again, overall, this whole thing needs a revamp. I rarely am this fed up. I gotta stop slamming on my desk and shaking the camera. I'm rarely this fed up. It's time for jobs to be replaced. It is time. I'm far beyond. Look, you're a professional. This is supposed to be how many millions of dollars is Fox paying for this? Billions, probably. I don't know. Fox is paying a lot of money for this product. And for a producer to be this out of touch with the fans, it's time to go. It's time to go. And maybe it's not the producer. Maybe it's the camera operator. Clean house, start over. If it's that bad, just clean house and start over. I have seen better college volleyball broadcasts. I've seen better all sorts of different broadcasts. This is the top tier of American motorsports. We deserve a better broadcast than what we are getting. It is time to fix things. And if Fox isn't going to fix it, guys, they're here till 2031. Like, we really need this fixed, or this sport's going to die out because nobody can watch it because it's unwatchable. Because the racing is there. The racing is good. You just need a team to show you what's happening. All right. I feel better. So anyway, guys, that'll pretty much wrap up this long-winded rant. I just wanted to clear the air on all of the crap that's been going on. It's long overdue. Fingers crossed, everything's better next weekend. I'll be optimistic, maybe a little pessimistic. But other than that, guys, let me know your thoughts on the Geico 500 at Talladega. You can find the Race Win Diecast at rasdiecast.com for both Jesse Love and Tyler Reddick. Use the promo code RaceCraze at checkout to get yourself 10% off. But other than that, guys, thank you all for watching. This has been Race Craze. We'll see you in the next one.